And we're live. Welcome to another edition of Not Mainstream, and of March 16th, 2018, one day before St. Patrick's Day, and our first show after Daylight Savings Time. So, which is great, epic. But man, it's been a wild week in the White House. I call it White House madness. I mean, it's way better than March Madness. But so we kicked things off earlier this week. Rex Tillerson got fired as Secretary of State. He's been
Yeah.
replaced by Mike Pompeo, who was the director of the CIA, and now the Gina Haspel is now as fill-in for acting director, as she might get considered as permanent director of the CIA.
Mhm.
And she's surrounded in some controversy. We'll get into that, but she's also the first woman to be appointed of the CIA, and if she gets confirmed, she'll be the first woman in charge of the CIA. So that
Yeah.
that sexist narrative the mainstream media loves to push on Trump is not working at all.
Nope. Nope. And it seems like anything this administration does is controversial. There's controversy surrounding this administration.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, like there wasn't controversy surrounding the Obama administration, the Bush administration,
Yeah,
the Clinton administration.
Clinton administration, Bush Senior. I mean, it's just every single president is going to have controversy. It doesn't matter who it is or what it's for. It's just going to be controversy. But so Rex Tillerson is out. Mike Pompeo is in. Rex Tillerson. I wasn't I didn't know nothing about him. I just knew that he was ExxonMobil CEO for quite some time, and he was just appointed by Trump. I think it's a good move on Trump's part because it seemed like he was not wanting to pursue the America First agenda, and he wanted to do his own thing, which I'm not looking for corporate yes men for Trump, but I want someone who understands what Trump's doing and respects the agenda and trying to push the agenda through. And it seemed like Rex Tillerson wasn't doing that too well. I mean, he had a whole bunch of contradictions to Trump every time they interview him. I think what broke the camel's back was the whole North Korea thing, where he was like, "We ain't talking to North Korea," and Trump is like, "Yeah, we are. We're talking to North Korea." I think that's why he got fired. But it seems like Trump is doing some shake-ups and some move-arounds, which I think is great. I think get rid of the people who's not doing their job, and replace them with someone that will do their job. And it seems like there's more people on the chopping block. Jeff Sessions may be on the chopping block soon. H.R. McMaster, he's the National Security Advisor. Chief of Staff John Kelly, David Shulkin, the Secretary of the VA. There's a bunch of names floating around. I mean, it's like Henry, get your little March Madness bracket and fill it in. Who's going to be next?
Yeah. This is. I mean, but every presidential administration has shakeups. Every presidential administration has hirings and firings and things like. This is nothing new. Every administration does this. The Trump administration is not this.
Yeah.
They've already gone. They've already gone through one press secretary. Now they have Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
This happens. I mean, it happens with every presidential administration. There's shakeups, there's firings, things of that nature.
Yeah. And
this is nothing unusual.
I mean, we expected there's going to be firings because he made a living firing people. But go ahead.
Yes, he did, and we should. This sort of stuff should be expected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As he was a Democrat, if President Trump had run as a Democrat,
I still think they'll give him hell.
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. I really do. because he would have been the outsider Democrat. He wouldn't have been the establishment extremist leftist Democrat. So I still think they would have given him hell.
Good point. Good point. Yeah. So, I mean, they might have given him a little bit of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like they're giving him even more trouble because he's a conservative, or at least he's a populist who's conservative.
Yeah, a conservative populist, I guess you can call it that. Independent conservative, you know.
They are giving him more of a hard time than, let's say, if he was a raving, ranting leftist. If he was another Obama, they wouldn't have given him as much flack.
Mm-hmm.
If he was another Obama.
Yeah. So I don't really mind the shakeups. It's going to happen, like you said, and it's nothing new. But it seems like it occurs more frequently under his watch than it has in previous watches. Or maybe it's because I haven't been following politics up until now, and I'm just seeing it, with a new set of eyes. But yeah. I mean, if they're not doing the job, get rid of them.
Once again, other ministers, they've gone through shakeups and things of that nature. Sometimes they wait. Sometimes they wait 2 years. Sometimes they wait until after the first term if they're reelected.
Mm-hmm.
And then if they're reelected, they'll have shakeups.
Well, a prime example would be Hillary Clinton. She was Secretary of State under first term Obama. When Obama did his second term, John Kerry became Secretary of State.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's Lurch.
Yeah, Lurch.
He's a douchebag is what he is.
Yeah, and he's allegedly supposed to run in 2020. He's going to be way up there with Joe Biden.
He's going to get embarrassed if he does run. Joe Biden's going to be embarrassed. But I see nothing wrong with the shakeups either. Mm-hmm. And of course, I mean, there's always controversy surrounding this White House, according to the fake news media.
Yeah.
The whole Stormy Daniels thing. Now Stormy Daniels is alleging that someone, threatened her. Someone within the Trump circle threatened her. I don't know I don't necessarily believe that.
Yeah, I don't get that either. I don't know what Stormy Daniels is doing. Her mom, there was an article on Daily Caller. They interviewed her mom, and her mom was a hardcore Trump supporter. She says she would vote for him again in 4 years, and every year after that if she could. So I don't know who is paying Stormy Daniels to do this. Probably the DNC, probably Hillary Clinton. I wouldn't be surprised. But speaking of Hillary, we'll get to Hillary. Weekend at Hillary's. Weekend at Hillary's.
Hillary, yes. But no, this whole Stormy Daniels thing. I mean, I don't believe anything happened between the two, and even if it did, it's consensual. He didn't rape her. He didn't sexually assault her. Nothing like that.
Yeah.
And it happened. Hey. Newsflash, leftists, it happened before he was president. If it happened at all.
Yeah. Allegedly it happened. We have to say allegedly. But if it allegedly did happen, it was like, 2006? So he was still, in the private, as a private citizen. So.
Right.
And here's the thing. If it did happen, Trump and Melania, I'm sure, probably work things out or something. I don't know. But.
Yeah. We don't know what happened behind the scenes.
Yeah. We don't even care. I don't care.
Right.
I think a majority of Americans probably do not care. The only people that does care are the Russian leftists that keep screaming that Russia hacked the election and that, Stormy Daniels. I think that's the only person that Maxine Waters only cares because she said if Mueller doesn't get him, Stormy Daniels will. And
Oh, what an idiot!
Yeah. So and then plus he can't be impeached for it unless he lies under
Yeah,
oath like Clinton did. You know, and it
I love President Trump called Maxine Waters low IQ.
like you, Maxine. Oh, that was great.
That was freaking hilarious.
Wow.
And then there's also, and now we find out that Donald Trump Jr. and his wife are getting a divorce.
Yeah, who cares? I don't care. I'm sure that's probably a amicable split. I'm sure, after 12 years, of course, something's going to come up.
And and one thing that I did not really realize until last night was that it was Donald Trump Jr.'s wife that received that envelope which had the white powder in it.
Yeah, yeah,
Not very long ago, which
yeah.
turned out
That
to be
happened like
it turned
yeah,
out to
that
be
happened like
nothing. But
Go ahead.
I mean, it turned out to be nothing. But I mean, it's almost as if it was some kind of a message or a threat.
Yeah,
And
yeah, but I don't think that was the leading cause for the divorce, though. I think
I
it's
don't believe
probably
so.
I think it's probably in the works. And it just came out at a really bad time. But
Mhm.
we're not TMZ, so we don't know these things. We don't care about. I
Right,
don't. At least I don't care about these things.
right. I mean, these are little distractions, little
Yeah.
side things that are happening that have nothing to do with the job the president is doing. I mean, it has
Mhm.
nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
of course, I mean, the House Judiciary Committee found this week that there
mhm.
was no Russian collusion.
Yep.
Now, that's not going to stop Mueller from continuing
Yeah.
his witch hunt.
Well, Mueller is continuing this witch hunt because earlier this week it was announced that he subpoenaed the Trump organization, which is what does that have to deal with the Russian stuff? I mean, the Trump organization, his campaign were two completely different things. So he's just, I don't know where he's going with this. I mean, some people are saying, wait and see. Mueller is helping Trump. He's just doing this to help get Hillary and all that. And it looks to be that way, but I'm not really certain. But until I see more proof of that happening, I'm going to be kind of skeptical with that theory. But I do 100% believe that it is a witch hunt because there's no need for him to subpoena the Trump organization.
Right? Yeah. There is no need for it at all. It's just it's grasping at straws. I mean, that's
Mm-hmm.
what Mueller is doing. Oh, and I found out that apparently CNN deemed this story just they had to report this. A bunch of Russian created a online video game called I think it was it Clintendo or Hillary Tendo or something Hilltendo
Oh, I've heard this. I've heard this.
where it's like 3 levels. You have to
You got to delete the emails.
delete the emails and all this stuff. Yeah, collect money and all this. Just yeah.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
CNN, the least trusted name in news,
Yeah,
the fake news. I mean,
yeah.
they took time. They took the time out of their schedule to report on that.
Oh, no, you didn't. I don't think we heard about this, but a week ago, I was on Daily Caller, and they actually had a reporter to go to Russia to where those 13 trolls that Mueller subpoenaed was at, and while he was there, they had the reporter dig through the garbage to see what was in the
Yes.
garbage. He said they didn't
Now
find
there's-
anything except for old computers.
Yep. See, they're getting desperate now. See, they want to find something. Now
They're like, go ahead.
they're digging through garbage. I mean,
Yeah,
what's
they're hiding
next?
in bushes.
Mm-hmm. If anybody's
CNN
doing
is
any,
like the worst. Go ahead. No,
if
go ahead.
anybody's doing any trolling, it's CNN, the very fake news network. They are the trolls because
CNN
if
is
they're
like the
going
worst PI team that you can hire. They're like in a van that says "not CNN" on the side of it. They're in the bushes. They're in the garbage. I mean, it's so ridiculous.
CNN is the gang that couldn't shoot straight.
Yeah. I mean, it's so laughable. But it's still sad that people actually believe CNN and take them from their word for what it's worth.
Yeah. Yeah. What I was going to say is that the CNN reminds me of the babes in the woods trying to find the Mad Hatter's Tea Party, following the instructions of the Keystone Cops.
That is great. But man,
they don't have anything. They haven't found anything. But yet they think if they keep digging, that we will find something.
Yeah. I mean, what's next? They're going to go through Stormy Daniels' garbage. They're going to go through the Trump organization's garbage. I wouldn't be surprised at this point if they would. It's like it reminds me of Better Call Saul when Jimmy goes through the garbage.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I picture CNN.
Yep.
Anderson Cooper going through there. We haven't found anything yet. Oh yeah. Man.
They're desperate.
Go ahead.
CNN is absolutely desperate because they want to find something that confirms their bias. They want to see something that confirms, confirmation bias. That's what it is. They want to find something.
Yeah.
And they figure if they can find that one piece, that one thing that will get this president once and for all, they figure, yes, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't care how they do it. They don't care how long it would take. As long as they can bring down Trump, that's all they want is to bring down Trump and the administration.
Well, I mean, they're pissed off at him because he called them fake news.
Yeah.
He keeps calling them fake news.
Well, CNN started it. CNN started that whole fake news thing, and Trump just took it and just threw it back at him, and now they're pissed. Actually, Anthony Scaramucci was on a MSNBC program, and he used the term fake news, and the reporter was like, "Oh, we don't use the term fake news here." It's like she got insulted by that. And I see why, because they are fake news. They are fake news.
And they know they are. And they don't like to be reminded. I think that's what it is. They don't like to be reminded that they're fake news.
Yeah.
But
going back to the firings real quick. I suspect that in the upcoming weeks, probably maybe even in the next month. So I suspect more firings, more reorganization.
Yeah, that's what I believe is we are going to see more shakeups, more firings, maybe more hirings, things like that. It's gonna. Hey, Lael.
Hey, Lael. Welcome.
Hi, guys. I missed you.
It's going to get interesting. I can tell you that much. Whatever is going to happen, as far as the hirings and the firings and all that. But as I mentioned, I mean, this happens with every administration. Every administration has a shakeup, has a hiring. It's no big deal.
Yeah. What do you think about the recent shakeups and firings, Lyle?
To tell you the truth, I have no idea. I have a son that's 14 and a half years old, my only child. Mm-hmm. And in the past 2 months, I have gained 3 children, 12, 4, and 5, and a 9-year-old part-time. And my world is loop-de-loop-de. But maybe I love it.
Maybe it might be for the best.
I love them, and I love it. And I'm trying to keep up with the news. What changes are we talking about?
Well, about hang on a second. I got a visitor. Hang on, guys. I need to mute.
Yeah, so the changes is that Rex Tillerson, he was the Secretary of State. He's been fired. He's been replaced by Mike Pompeo, former director of CIA, and now he's got Gina Haspel as the acting director of the CIA, and he's Trump chose her to be Mike Pompeo's replacement. However, there's some controversy surrounding her about her overseeing some torture back in 2002, I believe, in Thailand.
Oh yeah, that whole thing.
That sounds familiar.
The whole waterboarding thing, which to me, waterboarding is not torture. All it does is scare them. It scares the individuals.
What waterboarding does, and I've actually seen videos of people being waterboarded, it simulates drowning.
Yeah.
It simulates drowning. And it looks brutal, to be honest with you. It does look brutal. Mm-hmm. So I think maybe they should do alternatives to waterboarding. Don't do waterboarding. Do some other method.
It's hard.
I mean, I personally have no issue with it. That's just me. That's just me. I don't have an issue with waterboarding because it's just a scare tactic. That's all it is. It's a sensation of drowning, but you're not really drowning. It may look horrifying, but
how does it feel? Horrifying?
Well, what they do is they take a rag and they put it over the victim, the terrorist or person's face, and they strap them to this board. And they and the board, what they do is they tilt it, and then they take water and they pour it over the face while they're holding the cloth, and it simulates drowning. And it's after it's possible that you can probably die from that.
Yes. I'm not saying that I can agree with it in the correct circumstances if you're pretty damn certain you've got the right dude, mm-hmm. and it's a bad enough event or whatever. And the Muslims, or I'm not saying the Muslims, let me change that. ISIS, Hamas, those kind of groups would not hesitate to use it or something worse, mm-hmm. on anybody else. But if we could come up with something that would give us the information that was a little less severe, I would be happy for mm-hmm. that. I do think that I don't know. I think it's a little severe, but if you're talking about the lives of thousands of people,
mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know. I'm mixed about it.
Yeah, that's the circumstances you have to consider. If, let's say, there's a suspect that knows about that, let's say there's a bomb somewhere, and this suspect knows where the bomb is, and they're refusing to talk. Under those circumstances, I say use whatever method you have to use to get them to talk.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it depends on the situation.
Once again, I have no issue with waterboarding. That's just me personally. That's just my
here's the
opinion.
thing. Let me add this too here. Now, PJ Media actually has an article out that says, turns out Trump's nominee to head CIA didn't even oversee the waterboarding in Thailand. When it was reported earlier this week that that President Trump was going to nominate career CIA officer Gina Haspel to become agency's director after it was announced that the current director, Mike Pompeo, was heading to the State Department. Many on the left and right seized on Haspel's alleged role in enhanced interrogation techniques. The focus was on the time period when Haspel was the chief of base at CIA black site, where terror suspect Abu Zadah was waterboarded. Reuters reported that Haspel is dodged by secret prisons, referring to Haspel's time in Thailand. John McCain had this to say: the American people now deserve the same assurance from Gina Haspel, whose career with the agency has intersected with the program of so-called enhanced interrogation techniques on a number of occasions. This all stemmed from some reporting that the multiple Pulitzer Prize-winning site ProPublica did last year. The site, however, got some of the details wrong, and to its credit, has issued a lengthy and prominently placed correction. Here are a couple tweets from ProPublic's Twitter. ProPublica's Twitter. Correction: Trump's pick to head CIA did not oversee waterboarding of the terrorists, and they've updated the site to reflect the story. So yeah, I'll just post that link in the below, and you guys can decide for yourself after reading it. But they're saying, and PJ Media is pretty credible too. So they're saying that she didn't oversee it, and you have people like John McCain and all these other establishment neocons saying that she did. I kind of tend not to believe John McCain on anything. I don't take his word.
John McCain needs to retire, but it's almost as if he wants to stay in office till he's dead and gone.
Mm-hmm.
He wants.
Go ahead, Henry. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's almost as if he just wants to counterman anything that Trump wants to do, because he's very, John McCain has been a never Trumper from day one. So
yeah.
Well,
the only reason why John McCain is still in there is try to stop Trump at all costs, but his age is going against him, so I don't see him living for the Trump's term.
Well, not just his. Don't forget, he's got that aggressive brain cancer, which
and
I think it's affecting his judgment. I believe that brain cancer is affecting his judgment.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
where he is, where he's saying and doing things that
he's going further and further left.
Yes,
as the years pass.
Mm-hmm.
He's always been a neocon.
I can see John McCain, if anybody knows about torture, John McCain does. Now, maybe he turned, and maybe he's not the superhero he was made out to be, but John McCain was beaten and broken in his years as a POW.
Mm-hmm.
So
Well, that's true.
I would take his word for what it's like to be tortured because he
Yeah.
would know. But at the same, and so I could see him saying, it's horrible, horrible, horrible. Let's don't do it anymore. But at the same time, it's other things other than torture that he has turned and gone more to the left on. You
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
if you know, if you tortured me for 5 years, if I'm a decent enough person in 30 years, I would say it was terrible and I don't want anybody else to be treated that way, even an enemy.
Mhm.
Okay, we can all grasp that and whatever, but he has gone further the other way for some whatever reason.
Yeah. Well,
And
his karma will
he,
catch up with him
Yeah.
eventually.
he needs to retire. I don't wish any bad on him. I'm sorry he's sick,
Mhm.
but he needs to retire and go home and spend his last years with his family and his grandbabies. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Uh, oh, there
I
was
agree.
one piece of
There.
news that we forgot to mention in the Trump shakeup is that globalist Gary Cohn is out. He resigned because of the tariffs that Trump placed on China and all the other countries. And
Mhm.
Larry Kudlow is now officially
Right.
his economic advisor.
Yep.
Great
Larry
pick.
Kudlow. Yep.
Great pick. Great choice. Great
Yep.
choice.
At least it wasn't Screamer. I mean Kramer. Jim Kramer.
Oh man, he would have been horrible. It would have
Yeah.
been horrible. But I'm glad it was Larry Kudlow. Great dude. I think it's going to be a great economic advisor.
Yeah, I think so. I think he'll do great. I think he'll be a great choice into the Trump White House.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah,
Y'all think
some of these positions do not even require confirmation, by the way. So
Hmm. Yeah, I think his economic advisor doesn't require confirmation. He just gets sworn in, and that's that.
mm-hmm.
cool.
But let me see. So, week in Trump, Trump did something historic. Tuesday, he went to look at the wall. He looked at the wall, and I think in San Diego, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
The prototypes to the wall, epic, epic.
Yeah, I saw
That's
something
great,
about that.
great publicity. Um, yeah, I think that's the only big thing. He met with a couple of foreign leaders. He met with the Prime Minister of Ireland today to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. He spoke to the Marines while he was in California. But the big thing was that he went to see the wall prototypes, and that was just great. Just a great moment.
Yeah, I agree. That is a great moment, and that the wall is fully implemented and is fully built.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's going to take a little bit longer to get the wall because they don't it's obstruction by the Dems and some of the Republicans that needs to be out in midterm season. And speaking of elections, there was a special election on Tuesday in Pennsylvania between Connor Lamb and Rick Succo. What was his name?
I'm not sure what the guy's.
Succo. Rick Succo, I think.
But the Democrat won, and I'm sure that the left was like, "Well, this is a referendum on this president."
But see, here's the thing. I was watching the special election pretty closely, and Connor Lamb only won by a few hundred votes. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was some, election manipulation in there. From what I've understand is that Rick Secco has not conceded yet, and he's probably considering a recount.
Good.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him. I would call for a recount too.
What
The
state is this?
who?
What state?
Oh, Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania.
Okay.
District 18. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, if there was some chicanery going on, then yes, he definitely he's within his rights to demand a recount. So.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, the Pennsylvania Democrats have been out to the cemeteries gathering new voters,
Yeah.
or should I say, old voters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. But so what do you guys see going forward in the midterm season? Because, you can't judge an election or primaries by one election. It's going to be a little bit difficult to see where things go and see if there's going to be either a blue wave or a red wave. Opening for that red wave, but what do you guys think?
Well, let's see. It's March right now, and they're going to be heavily campaigning throughout the year.
Yeah.
Yep.
And November is the election, so there's going to be primaries that are going to occur. Where you go to your local polling, and let's say there's two candidates. Let's say there's two Republicans, and you have to choose which Republican you want, or Democrats if that's how you if that's your persuasion, if that's your persuasion. So, I mean, there's going to be the primaries, and there's going to be the actual election itself. So, and from what I understand, Chris McDaniel here in Mississippi is actually, I think he's vying for Thad Cochran's seat because Thad Cochran is retiring. So, and Roger Wicker is running for re-election also. And according to his advertisements, he has been very strong. Referring to Roger Wicker, I would have to look at his voting record to see what kind of thing has he voted for the right things? Has he stuck with the president always, or he's claiming that Chris McDaniel is very anti-Trump, but I don't know. I mean, Chris McDaniel is a very conservative individual.
Yeah. Well, I have to research more people in other states to see, who would get the PAM, the politically alternative media endorsement stamp of approval. But some voting tips, I say don't do absentee ballots or don't do the early voting because those votes out there is not, guaranteed if they're going to go through or not. That's a little nervous. I think they should end the whole absentee and early voting concept. I understand why, but it's kind of sketchy. They need to start bringing in voter ID nationwide. Nationwide voter ID, and get rid of those electronic machines. I mean, have we as a society have become so incapable of filling in a little circle dot with a little pen? I mean, we've been doing it since grade school. I mean, why do we need electronic voting machine?
Well, the voting machines or the old school voting machines that we had, you would go in there and you close the curtains with a lever, and then you flick the little levers by the name that you want. It reflects the vote.
Oh yeah,
and then you pull the curtains, and the curtains open. So
yeah.
Now we have the electronic voting machines.
What we have here now in Bath, which is a small town, there aren't any big, what you'd call cities in Beaufort County.
Mm-hmm.
We have the 3 or 4 little desk things in a circle with the little walls. And then we have a piece of paper and you fill in the holes, but then you take it to a machine and lay it in there and it sucks it in.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we have.
We have the electronic ones, and then after you do it, it prints it out on paper. Prints out on paper.
Mm-hmm.
I think they need to get rid of the electronic movies.
That's what they see. They give you a little card. They give you a little card that you have to put in the machine.
Yeah.
And then I guess all the votes go on that card or something. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
And after I vote, I always double check to make sure that I always double check to make sure that people I voted for are reflected on the.
I always make sure.
Yes,
and then,
because those. How many times have we heard about people fussing that they voted Republican and it turned Democrat?
Yep. And then if you see that happen on your report it immediately. Make note of it. Make note of it. Share and report it.
Yes. Immediately.
Supposedly the law is you cannot photograph or video your own voting machine. That was like, screw that. We have to make sure that the vote was correct.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that law needs to be get rid of. I think what needs to happen is that people needs to have a copy of who they voted for.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you get done voting, it should print you out a copy, and then you get to keep it and look on there. And if there's any mistakes, take it to the the person in charge and say, "Hey, this is not who I voted for. Let me do a redo."
Yeah,
and I'm sure they can go in there and cancel out what you voted for or something like that.
If they would,
yeah.
The place isn't predominantly run by Democrats.
Yeah. And then
a Republican would let you change it because we're never mind. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, and then also go out locally and help the candidate. This is a big movement on our part, and Trump and this movement needs every single help they can get. Go out, research the candidates, join whatever you want to join, and go out and let people know about who to vote for, why to vote for them, and tell people, hey, this is a big movement, and we need your help.
And if you have no idea about politics, about what the Democrats want, about what the Republicans want, what they're trying to do, stay home.
Yeah, well,
I did not vote when I was 18, 22, 26 because I knew that it was a big deal and that I was not educated enough. I hadn't paid attention to the news. I knew how my parents voted and whatever, but then I could have gone with that. And how your parents vote is a lot of times a good way to go. But I knew that it was a responsibility. And if I felt like I did not have the knowledge of both sides, and I would rather not vote than vote for the wrong one. We've known people who turned 18 and said, yeah, I'm going to vote. Who you going to vote for? I don't know. I'm just going. Do you know anything about it? Who's up for school council? Who's up for city, for governor? I don't know, but I'm going to vote. No.
I gotta tell you, I was not like that when I turned 18. I did not sign up to
Well,
vote until I was this age, until Trump ran. I didn't vote when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I voted when I was when Trump ran. That was the first time and only time I voted.
I've been voting for 12 or 14 years now. I don't know. God, I'm getting so old. But once I started to watch the news, pay attention to the news, got to be a grown up, paying taxes, having a kid, you know, owning a business. And I educated myself more about it. So I felt confident in voting for Bush. And I did vote for Bush. You know. Twice. Twice, I think.
I think the first time I voted was absentee. I was in college. I was sent an absentee ballot. And because college was away from home, so and they sent me an absentee ballot. I think it was an off-year election. It wasn't a presidential election.
All right.
Still,
so, the first presidential election I voted in was 92. Because I was 22, and I did register with Selective Service when I turned 18, which you're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Young men are supposed.
All guys have to do that. It's mandatory.
Supposed to register when they turn.
Yeah.
So I made sure that I did that.
There's been talk about lowering the voting age to 16. And absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not going to have these tripod eating millennials vote. You know, and let this country become a communist socialist country.
Raise it. If anything,
raise it. Raise it to 21.
Yeah, raise it.
Well, yeah, but that's not going to help a whole lot either, because the college kids that are 21 are all liberalized.
Raise it to 30.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That wouldn't be bad. Till you have to live and pay taxes and work a job.
Yeah.
Try to buy a home. Try to get married to a kid. That wouldn't be bad. Raise it to 30.
Yeah, raise it to 30. Then exactly. You know, raise it to 30 and have all these people experience of hard work and you know, and how absolutely. 100% agree on that.
You know what would be neat if we could from 18 to 30 make them vote for who they thought would be the best, but the votes didn't count, but just see who the majority of the young ones voted for. And then as each years, as they got older and had to work and had to pay taxes and had to try and start a business and had to try and raise kids, see if their votes would change.
Yeah.
Between 18 and 30, see how many would stay a Democrat and how many would change to conservative.
Yeah.
I mean, that would just be an interesting study.
That would be a great study. That would be a great study.
Yeah.
Well, it was the great statesman himself, Winston Churchill, who said once, "If you are not a liberal, you have no heart. If you are not a conservative by age 40, you have no brain."
That's great. Now you know Winston Churchill was racist. You know, apparently he's racist now.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. All the great ones were, weren't they?
I want to see that movie.
But
The one,
you do
Gary
know, statistics show that more liberals change to conservative
Yeah. Once they get
than
older.
conservatives change to liberal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a few conservatives change to liberal on occasion, or maybe libertarian, but most, if there is a change, most of the time it is a liberal changing to conservative.
Yeah.
Which
What I was going to
should
say
tell
was
us
is that I'm going to see that movie that Gary Oldman, he won the Oscar for playing
yeah.
Winston Churchill.
Yeah, I
The
think that'd be
Darkest
good.
Hour.
I think that'd be a
The
good movie.
Darkest Hour. Yeah.
I hadn't heard of it. Is it on Netflix yet, or is it a new movie?
Yeah, it's a relatively new movie.
It's relatively new. Yeah, I think it was
I'd say
nominated
it'll
for
probably
best.
be on Netflix in a few months.
It didn't win it, but it was nominated for Best Picture. But no, Gary Oldman won for Best Actor for it.
Is it a conservative sided movie?
I'm not sure. I mean, he's playing Winston Churchill. That's all I know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Gary Oldman is playing Winston Churchill. So,
Hollywood can take any great person and turn him into a shit.
yeah.
Yeah, that's true. They love to liberalize history. They love to liberalize history.
Yes,
But
they do.
some news is coming through the pipe. Omar Navarro, who's campaigning in California, he's been endorsed by General Flynn and his son Flynn Jr.
Interesting. Yeah, he's the one running against Maxine Waters. Old Maxine.
Get her out of there.
Yeah.
Get her out of there.
God, that crazy woman. Oh my God. What a complete loony.
Hey, yeah, listen, Omar Navarro, he's running against Maxine Waters. He's already got my stamp of approval.
Yeah, I agree.
Why can't we be illegals and get busted into freaking California so we can vote for Omar?
What was it? Maxine said something really stupid again the other day. Oh, it was the thing she had the town hall meeting, but you had to have an ID to get in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And she thinks it's racist to have voter ID.
And then she made a speech about how voter ID was racist.
Oh,
the thing is, she's had conservatives. She's had conservatives infiltrate her meetings. There have been conservatives that have taken video of her, or tried to take video of her, and infiltrate the meetings. So I think that's why her people are asking for voting for identification. Like we don't know you. Get out of here. You know.
Well, shouldn't it be that way with voting for the president of the United States? Yes.
Absolutely. Get voter ID nationwide. Nationwide voter ID.
Mm-hmm.
Trump needs to enforce that before 2020. He needs to write an executive order, making nationwide voter ID.
I agree. That would help a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's continue with the lunacy of weekend at Hillary's. So
Hillary's in India.
Hillary's in India. And let's just say stairs is not her strongest point. So let's, before we get into what she said, let's get into what she did. So she was walking downstairs. She was walking downstairs.
She slipped on the stairs twice.
Yeah.
And
She
then
had to
also
be held like Bernie in Weekend at Bernie's. And
Hillary.
she lost 2 shoes this time. Not 1 shoe, 2 shoes.
Uh-huh.
Like when she got to the bottom of the steps, she took both of her shoes off. It was great. She also sprained her wrist somehow.
She slipped in the bathtub.
Oh, is that what the story they said? That's the story they gave. Allegedly, she slipped in the bathtub. To be honest with you, I think that could be a strong possibility because she cannot accomplish stairs. She's struggling on stairs. Every time she goes up or downstairs, she needs someone to help her, and she falls. But she's also lit a fire. Lit a fire on the Democratic side that seems is going to hurt the Dems more than help. She said that, racist people voted for Trump. Everybody that's not on the coast is idiots and they're dumbs. I'm just paraphrasing. It's not actually what she said, but she meant that. She meant that 100%. She said all the red in the middle of the states voted for Trump. That's all the states he won. Those are the idiots and morons and all that. People on the coast like I am,
She was talking about that white women were being pressured by their husbands and by their sons to vote for Donald Trump.
Yeah, what kind of nonsense is he talking about? I mean, by all means, Hillary, keep on saying all this because this is going to help us a lot. You see right here, I can picture it now, a perfect campaign ad. Say someone's in like in the the Midwest, Kansas is somewhere, and a pro-Trumper is, viewing the ad and say, hey, my opponent voted for Hillary Clinton. This is what Hillary Clinton thinks of you. And they run that ad with Hillary saying that, people in the middle is idiots and morons and all that. Oh my God, that dude will win by a freaking landslide.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, she was basically, here's the thing. After almost a year and a half, she has not taken responsibility for losing.
Yeah, all that, yeah. Yeah, her excuses change of why she lost. I mean, first it was Comey, then Bernie Sanders, then the FBI, Russia.
She did say also when she was in India, she also brought up Comey again. She said it was because of this ill-timed investigation he dropped on my lap on October 28th or whatever it was.
Yeah. Oh man, she was pretty pissed, and that's the Hillary that you don't see in public. I mean, that's Hillary that is behind closed doors. I'm glad she did all that. I'm glad she hurt herself. I'm glad she shot herself in the foot and said all that and hurt the Democrat side because, like I said, that'd be a great ad. Post on there. This is what Hillary Clinton thinks of you. Whether you voted for Trump or not, this is what she thinks of you.
Mm-hmm.
And she means that, too. She thinks that Trump voters are idiots. Yeah, she is.
Bitch.
She's the big C. She's the big C.
Yeah, she's definitely that. Yeah.
But, yeah, Hillary, this is like the first time, maybe once or twice more, but this is like, her telling the truth that she does really think that we're a bunch of idiots. She really does think that.
Yeah,
and it's not just the Trump supporters. She thinks everybody in America is a bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
That's how much hate she's got.
She even thinks this. Listen, she has blamed her own supporters. Yeah. She blamed the people who would have voted. She blamed the people who voted for her. Like, you didn't get the message out enough. Yeah. You didn't get out enough. You didn't do this. You didn't do that.
Yeah, it's like, she's like that freaking school marm who's like, paddling everybody. Just paddling everybody. You didn't give me enough voters. Why ain't I 50 points ahead? And
Oh
then,
yeah.
while she's paddling, she's like, falling and can't get up. She's got to get her little life alert button. Oh my God.
Yeah.
If
I
oh my
remember.
God.
I remember.
Dude,
Yeah.
if SNL were like, any parody whatsoever, they would do a freaking parody of Life Alert with Hillary Clinton in that freaking ad. That'd just be so freaking epic.
I remember when Hillary was like, "Why am I not 50 points ahead?"
Yeah. You may ask yourself, why I ain't 50 points ahead? It's so freak. Oh my God, Hillary. It's like
nobody likes you, bitch. Nobody likes you.
Absolutely. It's like a love-hate relationship with Hillary. You love to hate her. And oh man, but Hillary spoke the truth that she thinks we're a bunch of idiots and hates our guts.
Yeah,
that's what Hillary really. I mean, if you pump that right there and pump that on the ad, this is what Hillary thinks of you, and she really does think we're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, she does. She absolutely does. Now, something I want to transition to. All right. This was, I guess this is they said it was Paris. I think it was Paris, Texas, or may have been Paris, Tennessee. I'm not sure. But a black woman claimed that Walmart, because they are locking all of the products, the hair products for blacks. And you've probably seen it, Shane. When you go into Walmart, go to the beauty product section or the
the razor aisle.
Razors.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they have them behind. Sometimes they put the stuff behind locked cases. And that's because that stuff is most likely to be stolen.
Yeah.
People steal razors. This woman's like, well, they're being racially discriminatory. And guess who is representing her?
All comes down racism. Yeah, racism. Who's representing her?
You talked about the big C.
Oh,
the other
Gloria
big
Allred
C
is representing her?
Yeah.
Oh my God. That is so great.
Now that should tell you everything you need to know about that individual.
Oh
and about the lawsuit.
Oh jeez. Oh man.
I mean, statistics have found that products like razors and products for hair and things of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
The statistics have found these are the products that are most likely to be stolen from a store.
Yeah.
So that is why they put them in behind the little case and they lock it up. You have to go get an employee. They have to come and unlock it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is such a huge inconvenience. Oh, I can't handle that. Oh my God.
It's racism. It all comes down to racism.
No, it's razorism.
Yeah, they're racist against razors.
Sorry, I had to duck out. As Marsha Brady once said, something suddenly came up. But I'm back.
And speaking of
Marsha,
speaking of viral videos, Steven Crowder did a video, and where he had one of his employees infiltrate South by Southwest as a computer, and he goes to this, what do you identify as party, I guess, and he goes there and he says, I identify as a computer, beep, boop, beep, beep, and then for some reason the video gets taken down, and he got censored from Twitter and YouTube because of that video. And this is more of this, censorship, rampant censorship we see from the giant tech companies, Google, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go
ahead. I'm so apt to interrupt, and I don't mean to do it, but I keep doing it. Um, I saw yesterday or the day before, wasn't anybody I knew real well, but it was somebody on my friends list posted, oh, I know who it was. She lives in Alaska. And she's kind of a Bigfoot person, but just general friend. And anyway, and they had Facebook had taken a post of hers down.
Oh wow!
And I don't know if she somehow did or if a friend did or what, but somebody shared the post she had posted. With the piece on top of it saying Facebook finds this inappropriate. And it was nothing. It was like it was a conservative post, but it was not. It didn't have any cuss words, anything ugly. It wasn't a nasty joke about Hillary. I mean, it wasn't anything that bad. And she posts political stuff, and she's conservative. But she doesn't post 15 things every day.
Yeah.
You know, she posts, 5 or 7 in a week, or even not that many. And Facebook had deemed it unacceptable and taken it down. That's bull.
Yeah, well, I mean, Twitter has been shadow banning conservatives, so
yeah.
I mean, is it really? It's really not that shocking or surprising, to be quite honest. This kind of stuff is happening.
Yeah, and also, Kathy Zhu, I think she's Chinese. She's pro-Trump. She posted on Instagram a photo of her in her "Make America Great Again" hat, and that got censored on Instagram. And not only that, we see Lauren Sutherland, Brittany Pettibone, and some guy. They went into the UK and they got detained and banned from the UK because their speech is hate speech. And before the UK became Nazi Germany, I was like, oh, it's a lovely country. I would love to visit it someday. But now I'm kind of hesitant. I do not want to visit a country that doesn't respect freedom of speech, that brings in all these refugees that run rampant. And then you have the mayor, Khan, who made a surprise appearance in South by Southwest saying that, you got to censor these people. I mean, he was promoting censorship, communist Chinese style censorship at South by Southwest. And I'm like, dude, don't you have a freaking city to run in London? Why are you here preaching to us? I mean, the London, he's the London mayor, and London is a shithole of a country because he's running it.
And
it is. I mean, you have all these acid attacks that's happening in London on his watch. You have all these refugees stabbing and raping and killing people on his watch. So, dude, instead of preaching to us about censorship and coming to our country and preaching to us, go back to your own country.
He wants to promote Islam.
Yeah, I completely agree.
The best and the most he can, and get it more and more and more, because as we all know, maybe not. I'm sure there are Muslims who just want to work, make their money, raise their children, and love them. But there are a lot of Muslims who believe the Quran full force, or still thinking middle age wise, and they don't want to come to America to assimilate and have a better life, they're coming to America to take it over.
Yeah.
And they've been working on it since the 1400s. And people can say, what about the Crusades? What about how many Muslims got killed in the Crusades? The Europeans did not go into the Middle East just on a whim to kill the Muslims. The Muslims were trying to overtake Europe. They were fighting them off. They didn't just go over there to kill them for the hell of it. They were trying to keep the Muslims out of Europe. And that's been 600 years. You know what I'm saying.
That's true.
And it doesn't matter to them if I die today and it's 150 years before they take America. I'm dying today. I'll get my virgins, and when they get America, that'll be great.
Yeah.
And
okay, something.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
The only thing I was gonna add was, what is this with the feminism here in America? And they want Muslim. Oh, let's love the Muslims. So.
Yeah, it's kind of
but
kind of weird.
The Muslims have so many wives. They beat a lot of them. Beat the ones they have. Think about the
basically women are the slaves to them.
Exactly.
You've got the Sharia law.
Sharia law. If your 14-year-old sister gets raped by a gang of guys, you kill her. The hell. And think about genital mutilation.
Female circumcision.
And they're doing this in America now.
Yeah, there's been reports of doctors in I think in Minnesota been prosecuted because of the female genital mutilation.
Did they do it? The doctors did it? Because usually the
doctors did
grandmamas do it.
Yeah, they indicted the doctors because of because they did it themselves.
Well, thank God for that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, the liberals, the feminists, love Islam. Right. Okay.
Yeah, I don't
what is Islam doing to their women? Yeah. Then you have the LGBT. Embrace Islam. What would they do to you?
It's actually like.
Well, just let me finish. My son, he's as smart as the rest of us. The LGBT, head on over to Afghanistan. What are they gonna do to you there?
Oh yeah, throw you off the building, punching cages,
if they get a chance. I mean, love and giving somebody else a chance is great, but when you know they hate your specific group and you keep wandering the streets yelling free love for it, you all get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well, they did that. They did that in Europe. I mean, when they were accepting these refugees.
Yes, and look at Germany and England's getting the same way.
Yep. But
they were over accepting of the refugees.
Yeah.
In Europe. Germany and places like that. They were very over accepting. So,
And you would think after World War II, come here, James. You would think after World War II, Europe would have a clue, as to what might be coming. All right, come here, sit down.
well, it all has to do with the leadership. It has to do with that Angela Merkel over in Germany. Yeah,
stupid she is.
she's a
There's a video going around that saying that they need to embrace Islam. She said that they need to embrace Islam, which I mean, okay.
Yeah.
Germany is lost. I don't see any hope for Germany, and I don't see any hope for the UK.
Nope.
Yeah, someone compiled a video where they showed all the different these instances of these refugees being welcomed into Germany and things of that nature, and different places in Europe.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's frightening. It's just frightening what's going on in Europe right now.
Yeah, and the EU is forcing those countries to accept the refugees. Poland doesn't want to accept them. Hungary doesn't want to accept them, but the EU is forcing them to. Which, by the way,
thank Trump, we got out of the EU, didn't we? Yeah.
We were never in the EU. The EU was more the European.
I know, but we opted.
He got us out of the trade thing.
TPP.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, TPP.
Yeah, that's what he got us out.
What did you want to say?
So we've gotten to a point where, the LGBT thing. It has more than doubled. It's not just LGBT anymore. There's like 25 of them. There's LGBTQIA. That's where my memory stops.
Yeah. So it's like, just put every single letter of the alphabet in there.
Yeah, including a number, which is weird.
Yeah, I don't get the number either.
Well, they claim 52 different genders, so
hey, at
maybe
this point, it's not even 52. It's over 100.
There you go.
The level that we've gotten to.
He's 14. He's 14 and a half, so he is in on the young folk.
Well, I'm glad you showed up, because earlier this week, and maybe you guys, school did it, but everybody marched for gun control in high school. All the schools marched and said we need to take the guns away and all that. So it's basically an anti-Second Amendment march. Was your school a part of that?
Okay. Let me just explain something. Not all schools are for just full-on banning guns. Some of them are just altering the gun laws so that it's just like you have to
sum up.
You would have to get like a sanity check, basically. Like, that's not exactly what it is.
Well, they already have that, honey. A psychiatric history.
A mental health screening, basically.
Right.
Like,
they already have that.
It's just not all the schools that are doing this, or the people who are just leaving on April 20th.
On 420.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute. Let's stop and let me ask James a question.
Okay.
Now, James is from country, basically hunting, a lot of the family hunts. He doesn't care to hunt, but we have guns, always had guns, and he does love to shoot targets. He's a good damn shot. Okay, now, James, as a 14-year-old 8th grader,
yes,
in the United States, I don't know what he's going to say. He may embarrass me. Would you rather have a few armed a couple of armed officers outside, maybe a couple of armed teachers inside, just in case? Or would you rather everybody was just sitting there, no guns around, except for the one that the intruder was shooting at all of you?
Kind of depends on what gun the teacher has.
No, just yes or yes. Pick one or two. Would you rather have guns around by trained people to handle them, or would you rather all be sitting there like ducks while somebody runs through? And
I would go with the first one.
I didn't lead him, did I?
Yeah, you kind of did.
A little bit.
But to tell
it's
you know guns, you know how to shoot guns, you know how to handle guns, so you know about guns. Would you rather have some people trained with gun training watching out for you, or just sit there and let?
I'm pretty sure that if you word it like that, anyone would say have someone armed protecting.
No, anyone wouldn't.
Well, because of how you're wording it, anyone would. But if you word it in a different way, people would have different answers.
That's true.
Would you rather have a teacher have a gun or not have a gun on campus?
Well, it depends on the gun, really. If it's just like a pistol in case, that's okay. But if they have like a shotgun,
No, well, I think, or are you thinking more of an AR-15 that
I
shoots
A
30?
simple handgun. A simple handgun.
A simple handgun.
like something small like that.
A rifle or a pistol, something that's not, a pistol,
Yeah, like
a revolver.
yeah, something along those lines, I would be okay with. But if it gets if it gets to the point where a teacher has like a pump shotgun just like under the desk, that's when it would be kind of iffy for me.
Well, we ain't talking about that.
I know. I'm just saying.
Well, we have an opinion.
I'm sure if they do allow teachers to have guns, I'm sure there's going to be rules and regulations.
Oh yeah, they will all have to go through the training course, the psychiatric, everything. And I wouldn't want guns in school if those people didn't go.
You just got to remember to give the librarian a silencer first.
Shane, he reminds me of you. He really does. He's so nerdy, but he's cool at the same time. And you both got glasses and that dark hair. He does. He reminds me of you. But anyway,
But did your school walk out?
No. They didn't down here, no.
No.
Our school is elementary, and it's maybe 600-700 students.
Mm-hmm.
He's in 8th grade, and it's the place. It's like the big sign says fall festival, but everybody that goes to the school says, "Are you going to the Halloween carnival?" It's they have Christmas trees. Mm-hmm. They might have to say here and there a holiday tree, but they keep Christ and Christianity in it, mm-hmm. without being too showy to piss somebody off. But it's in there.
There is literally like
Does it-
no Jewish people at the school, from what I've heard.
Well, yeah, but Jewish people, you don't have to worry about Jewish people in Christmas.
I know.
They have theirs, we have ours. It's just the liberals.
I mean, I've seen some Jewish people get really angry about Christmas trees at airports. Like, very angry.
What, on video, on YouTube or something?
Yes, I have seen Jewish people get very angry about Christmas trees at airports.
Well, they better watch themselves, or we won't support them on
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah.
Yeah, let's just start getting angry at
Good on
menorahs.
Hanukkah. It's time for Hanukkah.
Dreidel,
All right.
Dreidel. All right.
We'll get.
Uh,
We're gonna ask James to exit. Thank you for your input. We
if he
really
wants to
enjoyed
stay, he
it.
can stay.
You were entertaining and educational.
Yep.
We need more of the younger youth on here. Anyway, Henry,
We
you
do.
said you got breaking news or something?
You'll be glad to come on anytime.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all heard about this, but Tommy Lahren, who of course has a job on Fox News, she admitted on the air, and I don't know if but she said it was a joke later on, that she literally kicked her dog 5 times because the dog was chewing on a bone too loudly while she was on the air. And it's like, then she said, oh, it's just a joke.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering, was it a joke? I'm wondering, I mean, why would you joke about something like that? That's just beyond the pale. That's just that goes out. That's the boundaries of good taste. You know, I'm not going to defend Tommy Lahren if she did do it. I don't care if she's conservative, leftist, or what. I'm not going to defend somebody who abuses an animal or even jokes about abusing an animal.
Yeah, absolutely. I like Tommy, but I don't like animal abusers.
No, I don't either. But years and years and years and years, 100 years ago, when I was married to my first husband, and we weren't married long, it was a big, anyway, we got a puppy. And I would sometimes stick my foot under the puppy and pick him up with my foot and scoot him over. Not 5 feet, but 6 inches, or kind of just pick him up and scoot him over. And the jackass I was married to kept yelling I was kicking him. Don't kick him. And I wasn't kicking him. But I guess it was just a fluid enough motion. I stuck my foot under him. I picked his feet up just a tiny bit off the floor, scooted him over 6 or 8 inches, and sat him back down. And he berated me about kicking the puppy.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't.
Right.
The same thing is, I say I was spanked as a child. I wasn't beat, whooped, whatever, but I was spanked. But some people say my daddy beat me, and what they mean is he hit them on the butt with his hand 10 times in 10 years. So it depends what kicking is. But then there's kicking the crap out of a puppy, and God knows.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with your point.
What does she mean by kicking?
Yeah, I agree with your point. It's the context that you have to go by.
Well, but
that's all we have to go by.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's true, but when you talk about kicking a dog, I mean, that's going to have implications of people are going to be like, when you say you kicked the dog, that means you physically struck it. it's different from what you did, Leia.
Yeah, I can agree, Henry, too, that
It's how she worded. Yeah, if
especially
she would have said, she like, tapped the dog, with a foot, then okay, yeah, a little tap, but the context
I
was
nudged him with
kicking.
my foot. I tapped him with my foot. I kicked him a little with my foot.
But you said that she said what, kicked him 5 times?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
I don't know.
Yeah, that to me does not sound like what you did. I mean, listen, we've all done that with little animals where we just kind of pick them up a little bit with our foot.
Yeah,
That's harmless. There is nothing wrong with doing that. That is harmless. You're not actually physically harming the animal.
no, you're not even making them uncomfortable. You
Right.
know.
That is not physically harming the animal.
Yeah.
But if you say, I kicked the dog 5 times, then that is, just because the dog was making too much noise. It's like if you're having a problem, if you're trying to concentrate on your job, like while you're on television and there's a dog in the same room, all you have to do is say, "Excuse me for a second, I take the dog in the other room."
Yeah.
She did not have to kick the freaking dog.
Was that the I didn't know the situation. If she was sitting at a table or a desk with a table anyway with lights and cameras and whatever, and the dog kept nuzzling her feet or something, you could kick the dog lightly away,
Push out of the way
too. And she could have meant that I had to kick the dog 5 times. That she just, lightly bumped him away.
Well, I'm not so sure.
I'm not taking up for her. I'm just thinking I've had a little dog in my house for 25 years, and I know I do a lot with little dogs and my feet. I'm just.
Yeah, it was the context of what she said. She should have worded it differently.
She should have worded it differently.
I think we can all agree on that. She should have worded it differently, but she didn't, and that's kind of concerning.
If she had, let's say, said, "Okay, I lightly tapped the dog's head a little to try and get it to, stop chewing on the bone," that's one thing. But to say, "I kicked the dog 5 times,"
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, she shouldn't have said it that way. And hopefully it wasn't that way.
Yeah. Hopefully she's not an animal abuser.
Well,
I like to see that.
Another thing is, if she was she live or taping?
I think she was live on the air. I believe she was live on the air, and she said this. So, like I said, once again, I'm not gonna defend her.
Yeah.
No, I was saying, was she live on the air?
I think she was. I believe she was.
When she supposedly kicked the dog.
Yeah, she said she kicked the dog on the air 5 times.
Well, if she had kicked it very hard, it would have yelped or something.
Yeah, unless the microphones didn't pick it up, which is entirely possible.
Yeah. Oh, well.
So, but either way, it's a bad thing to make a joke about. It's a bad thing. If she goes back, I was just kidding. No, that's not a good thing to make a joke about. You don't joke about stuff like that.
Yeah, I think she should have, said, "I didn't mean to say I kicked the dog. I meant to say I lightly tapped it," or something like that. Or say that I didn't really kick the dog. I just, lightly tapped her. Instead of saying I was joking, that doesn't make any sense. But we don't know what happened during that interview. We just know what she said, And just going by what she said, I hope she's not an animal abuser. Or I hate to see if she's an animal abuser because she's done some great work and everything. But animal abuse, that's kind of where I draw the line.
Let's all just hope and pray that she didn't kick the dog to start with, and if she did, she kicked. It was just a light nudge, and she just used the wrong words in describing it. And we'll end with that.
Yeah. Speaking of an interview, last week, I believe, or maybe earlier this week, Fox aired an interview, the lost interview of O.J. Simpson that was interviewed in 2006.
I wanted to watch
I did not get to see that,
but I didn't.
The Walking Dead. I didn't get to see it because Walking Dead was on at the same time. So,
really,
I think I saw part of it, but I don't remember. Fill us in, Shane.
Yeah. So apparently, I didn't watch all of it. I watched a clip of Harvey Levin from TMZ, and he's done some tremendous work with the OJ case. And in his opinion, he said that OJ 100% confessed because at one point he was talking about earlier in the interview, he was saying, "Well, hypothetically, I would have done this." But when he started to get in his story, he said that I took the knife, I grabbed the knife, and continued with the I. And then what Harvey said is that when he said that, it's like, okay, that was his confession. And then it clicked with him and said, oh crap, I just confessed. Well, I better say hypothetically took the knife. And then he said, well, I better say hypothetically took the knife, and then laugh. But I really think that OJ did do it. Even though I wasn't alive at the time, I've
you were even alive? Oh
no,
my
I was not.
God.
What was that, 92?
it happened in 94.
94. Oh, well, I was a youngin' then.
Yeah, it was 94.
How old are you, Henry?
I was 24 when that happened. I'm 40. I'll be 48 a week from Monday. So
it was 94.
Yep, 94.
You'll be 48.
I'll be 48 week from Monday.
I'll be 52 in April.
Okay, but
that's why I told you I play your mama in your movie.
He did write a book. Now he co-authored a book before he pulled that little stunt in Vegas. He co-authored a book named "If I Did It." So and I believe that book was released in either 2006. So if they interviewed him in 2006, that would fit with that would be right around that time frame when the book was released.
Yeah.
So.
But I really didn't watch the interview. I just watched what Harvey Levin had to say, and he basically Harvey said that in his opinion he 100% confessed, and I think he did do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
what amazes
he did.
Something that amazes me is that there have been a few pro OJ documentaries that have said, "Oh, he didn't do it. He was framed. This happened. That happened."
Mm-hmm.
Who in the hell would have framed OJ?
Oh, those racist LA cops. It must have been those racist LA cops.
Yep. See, if those racist LA cops.
That during that time frame was the whole LA riots, right?
If Rodney King,
LA riots happened.
Go ahead.
The LA riots happened in 1992. The whole thing with Rodney King happened in 91. But see, the news only showed part of the footage of Rodney King. You watch that whole footage in its full context. In full context, you watch that entire footage. He was resisting arrest, obeying commands. He was trying to get up off the ground when they told him, stay down, get down on the ground, and all that.
We know this.
Well,
We
but the left tried to push the narrative also. Racist cops.
Yeah, and we see that countless times here in the present day, where they only
But
show half the footage or not all of the footage. You know, they only show what they want the viewer to see to press this false narrative of that all cops are bad, all cops are racist, all whites are bad, all whites are racist. So yeah, it was like, but at the time, 91, 92, nobody knew what the mainstream media narrative was. They wasn't really educated at the
working
time.
on and gonna get better at. Yeah.
But see, the LA riots were the result of those cops being acquitted the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And so after the LA riots, and it was so horrible, and then OJ was accused of murdering Nicole. Was that her name? Yeah.
Yep.
And the other fella, I don't want, everybody always leaves him out, and I don't want to leave him out because
Ron Goldman.
Ron Goldman, because he was important to his family as she was to hers, and let's don't leave him out of it. But
I watch about the O.J. Simpson case, and they have Fred Goldman on there. You can see the rage in his eyes.
Yeah,
you can, because he is still. And I don't blame him. I mean, his son is dead.
I don't either. But I think, and y'all probably have thought it too, and agree or whatever, but so close after the Rodney King riots and all the blacks and whites and Hispanics who, a lot of people, tons of people in California ran to say, OJ was innocent. And anybody with any sense in America knew he had done it. Mm-hmm. He had beat on her for years. Mm-hmm. It was a fact. Police records showed he had beat the hell out of her through the years. And who else did it? It was him. Mm-hmm. But they knew that if they found him guilty, the state would riot again. Mm-hmm. And he was a person. He wasn't Joe Blow up the road who busted in on a woman one night and killed her. He was O.J. Simpson. He was a big name. And chances were he won't go and kill nobody again. So it wasn't a big chance to put him back on the street and save Los Angeles.
Well, the problem was...
or the state.
It was largely a black jury. And one of those jurists was interviewed years later, and she said, she was asked, she said basically that we voted to acquit OJ as revenge for Rodney King. She admitted it on camera.
As revenge?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, for what happened with Rodney King.
That is a What word am I looking for?
I mean, this was years after the trial, so
This,
it wasn't like.
but I can't think of the word I want to use. But it's like the Indians rode in onto our farm and killed Daddy. So now we're gonna go kill every Indian we ever see if they were the one that killed Daddy or not.
Oh, what is that word? Crap.
It's an analogy.
Yeah.
It's an analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, it was like it's some kind of it's a special name for it. Not the analogy, but the killing every person and all that, even though they didn't kill him or not, to get revenge, basically,
For someone
of
who
what
had
happened.
killed somebody who had nothing to do with it, or revenge for.
It's almost like revenge killing, you might say, something like that.
Yeah.
Now, of course, OJ was found liable by a civil court.
Yes, and he never paid nothing on it, or very little.
In early 1997, yeah, he was found liable for a civil court. And you're right. I mean, I don't think the Goldman family has seen a dime of that money, or the Brown family either.
No. I think I have seen a couple of things in years past that they had received a little, but very little. And
they have not. They have not received nearly. I mean that they.
Exactly.
I mean, Fred Goldman, the Goldman family. They wanted, in front of the book about what happened.
Well, both families, I think, are doing well financially, and they don't need the money. But
yeah, they are. It's not.
But if they couldn't get
not the issue. They're not doing this for. They want.
They just want to get back. Yes.
It's like this man's a murderer. He killed our daughter, our daughter, our son, our brother, our sister,
our mama,
their mother. Yes, I mean, and there was a program. I think it was on Investigation Discovery. And there was speculation that maybe it was OJ's oldest son that did it. I don't believe that for a minute.
Yeah.
I don't believe it was his oldest son.
No.
Yeah, because there was only 3 people there at the time. And it was OJ, Nicole, and Rob.
Yeah.
Ron,
yeah.
Yeah. Ron, Nicole, and OJ. Yep.
And Ron wasn't really involved with Nicole that much. I mean, other than she left her glasses at the restaurant. He was returning her glasses to her.
Yeah. They were, yeah.
The problem was he was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. That's what I think, too. I don't think that OJ killed Ron because he thought he was doing Nicole or whatever. I think
Ron was a potential witness. Ron was a potential witness. If he let Ron get away.
Yep. So, there is some reason why OJ was madder than hell when she came home that night and Ron was with her.
Mm-hmm.
And he beat the hell out of her and killed her, and then killed Ron.
Mm-hmm.
So there wouldn't be a witness.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to get too graphic, but he damn near decapitated Nicole.
Ooh.
That's how bad it
Hmm.
was. Look up the
I didn't
details.
know that.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the details.
Yeah, look up
Me
the
either.
details. He almost decapitated Nicole. That's how bad it was.
Hmm.
Oh Lord. You know, we need to do another show a week, just where we can meander.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a
Uh,
bad suggestion.
Yeah, where we could talk about news or talk about Bigfoot or
But like I
whatever.
said, OJ. Yeah,
But we could
I'm
meander.
I'm fairly sure OJ did it. I'm very sure, and I'm sure that he did
Mhm.
confess a little.
Yeah, me too. I
You
think.
know, he did confess,
It's
even
like
though.
he's always every 3, 4, 5 years he'll hint at it.
Hmm.
Since the
Yeah.
time it happened, and I think he's doing it to keep his name in the paper, or
Yeah.
you know, or as they used to say on TV or whatever. Now,
Yeah, keep his 15 minutes of fame.
yeah, and
Mhm.
he did it. They
Hmm.
all knew he did it. Everybody knew he did it, and they decided not to um convict him because they were afraid of the riots. And
Hmm.
being a noteworthy person as he was, they really didn't think he was going to go out and kill anybody else. So he wasn't a danger to society. And it was in the best interest of the state of California to let him off.
Hmm.
Yeah, but you know, he could have killed. He could have perhaps killed somebody in Vegas when he was stuff back.
Yeah, yeah. He almost beat up that dude to get his stuff.
I remember all
Mm.
that happening, but but nobody died, did they?
No,
No,
nobody died.
Nobody beat somebody
no.
up.
He just kicked their
He
ass.
served like and then they released him last October. So
Yeah, yeah. I
So,
remember.
we'll probably do an OJ watch to see what
hey,
else he's going to get
yeah, we can
into.
do an OJ show at some point. Yeah, during the week.
An OJ watch. Yeah, what's OJ doing? All right. Let's see here. I think we haven't covered the biggest news. So Andrew McCabe, may be getting fired, may not be getting fired because
Oh yeah, I've heard about that.
this
Yeah.
Sunday is when he's going to resign and keep his pension. So, um, I hope Jeff Sessions does the right thing and fire Andrew McCabe.
Yep.
All
I
right.
think
Well,
as well.
I don't know what this is because, like I say, I have been slack on news, even more slack than since I've lost satellite. So you two talk about it, and then I'll figure out what the heck's going on in the meantime, and then I'll comment.
All right. Yeah, so Andrew McCabe, he's centered around this whole Russian controversy. He's part of the FISA court trying to, spy on Trump and everything. And he wants to retire and keep his pension, but if he gets fired between now and I guess Saturday at midnight, then he does not keep his pension. So hopefully, like I said, just Sessions does the right thing and fire him. I would love to see him get fired. And
And
earlier today, Fox News actually reported on an article saying that Andrew McCabe was fired, but it accidentally got published, and Fox News had to retract that. So he's not fired yet.
Yeah. That's what I've heard as well. Yeah, he wouldn't get the pension if he gets fired. See,
Yeah.
if he's allowed to resign, yeah, he would get the pension.
And what would the pension be? $2.5 million a year till he dies? What?
I have no idea. They never specify that. I don't know what his pension would be.
I mean, if he is one of the swamp creatures, and it sounds like he is, then definitely he's not deserving of a pension.
Yeah.
That don't mean you don't get it.
Well, we'll wait and see what happens with this whole situation.
I don't know. But I would venture to say, whoever he is, if he didn't get his pension, he's probably got enough money if he invests it right to live great the rest of his life. And his grandchildren.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
But I think that's pretty much it in the big nationwide news today. Henry, am I missing anything?
You are.
All right.
I don't believe we've missed anything. Not that I'm aware of. So.
All right. So let's get into some local news. Henry, you got any local news for us?
I have to bring it up. If Lael's got something, we can ask her to. If she's got something.
Lael's shaking her head no. So let me go ahead and do my local news.
You do yours.
All right.
Yeah,
so,
go ahead. Then.
All right. So elements of Trump's opioid plan is already in place in one West Virginia county. Now, what Trump's opioid plan is to give the death penalty or life in prison to drug dealers. And I'm all for that. So in Pineville, West Virginia, as U.S. President Donald Trump doubles down on a new opioid plan in March, some elements of his initiative are already in place in parts of southern West Virginia. One part of the plan, already drawing controversy, is the recommendation for the death penalty for drug dealers whose actions result in death. While West Virginia code does not allow for sentences of capital punishment, it does allow for life in prison. And it's a tool Wyoming County prosecutor Mike Cochran is already using to keep the drug dealers at bay. He says, and I quote, there's a certain code that allows for repeat offenders rule or the third strike rule. What it means is if they've already been convicted of 2 felonies in the past, they're eligible to be put in prison for life on the 3rd felony, said Cochran. The Wyoming County prosecutor stated seeking life sentences for repeat offenders last year, combined with other efforts to curb drug abuse inside the county. The overdose rate fell from 13 in 2016 to 7 in 2017. This is an amazing group of people here. 90 to 95% of the population is good people, but you don't want that 5% of people to run over all of the others, added Cochran. While Cochran and his team are focused on cutting the supply of drugs off to the county, Wyoming County, Commissioner Jason Mullins is working to address the supply. He's focusing on catching kids before they fall through the cracks. I really believe that prevention is going to be one of the better ways we can keep the drug problem from taking over our community. Mullins, Cochran, along with dozens of other key players in the prescription pill abuse fight, would be helping to participate in a West Virginia pilot study focused on Wyoming County. Governor Jim Justice and a team of researchers at WVU will be spearheading the project, working to develop a drug plan that can be used in other counties. It is so important for us to see that Charleston sees we have an issue and we need help. I'm glad that these folks down from Charleston and WVU to see what we can do to fix the problems, added Mullins. Both the president's plan and the West Virginia initiative calls for beef up enforcement, as well as a mix of prevention and treatment measures. I completely agree with it, even though we don't have the capital punishment policy in place in West Virginia. Life in prison for these drug dealers are just the next best thing. Because here's the thing, you see, drug dealers, they get caught all the time, and Trump said this too, after like a week or a month or 90 days or 60 days in jail, they're back on the streets again, doing the same thing over and over again until they get caught again. And I'm glad that they're initiating this 3-strike rule. I think it should be like, 1 strike and just get them off the streets completely. But 3 strikes, and you're out. And, I'm glad. And I hope, even though we do the life in prison, I hope that they can, like, rehab these people, because, they're people too. They're just drug dealers. And I think rehab, at least try to rehab these people, try to make better of themselves. Even though they're in prison, at least try to make better of themselves. But yeah, that's my local news. Henry, go ahead.
Yeah.
If you want to comment, go ahead.
I want to comment on that, but I want to hear Henry's too.
All right, you can go ahead and comment, Lel, and Henry can go ahead.
I agree 100%. I do think. I think with selling drugs maybe 3 times and you're out. But I also think that is it going to cost more money to take a dude that has been caught selling drugs 5 times and put him in prison for the rest of his life, which he won't be selling drugs on the street, but his wife or brother or whoever it could be, and sending it to him in jail for cigarettes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But what's it going to cost to keep him in there for the next 45 years? And he's going to live longer in jail. If you don't get in a fight and get killed, people live a long damn life in jail because they're not doing drugs and they're not drinking and they're not smoking or not as much, and they're eating 3 meals a day. Mm-hmm. I'm sure, I'm not saying it's a great place, but would it be better to take somebody at 3 drug selling convictions and put them in jail or somewhere for 6 months or a year with some extensive rehab, or what they were talking about?
Yeah.
Some good Christian people, ball playing, teach them accounting, teach them, anybody to spend time while they're young, and maybe we could get a bunch on the right path.
Yeah.
Maybe at 3 convictions for selling dope, put them for 6 months with some good folks, personal. Okay.
And I agree with you. I agree with your point. And I think it should just depend on what level dealer they are. If they're like more of the lower level dealer, then have like a couple of months in jail. And if they're like top notch Walter White type dealer, either life in prison or death penalty.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. I was thinking of your younger folks on the street.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't.
I consider them the low level dealers. I really do. I consider them the low level ones. But people like Walter White, again, for an example, that's like the highest level of dealing. So yeah.
Well, we have a drug problem in Mississippi, and I think there should be more stringent penalties for drug dealing. Don't know if I go along with the death penalty for drug dealers, but obviously I would definitely go along with much longer sentences.
Yeah.
And even life sentences. Yeah, definitely. I would definitely have no issue with that. To try and discourage them from discourage drugs, getting into that kind of business.
It's going to be hard, and you've got to hit them young.
Yeah, I agree. So my local news.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, be on alert for deer crossing roads due to flooding. The Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks urges all motorists to be on alert for deer crossing roads and highways more frequently as they seek higher ground due to widespread flooding, primarily in the waters of the western Mississippi Delta near Mississippi Highway 1. Also be wary of deer returning to their home ranges as water recedes. For more information regarding wildlife in Mississippi, visit their website at mdwfp.com. And there's also a number you can call them at. You can follow them on Facebook or Twitter. With all the rain we've been getting, there's been quite a bit of flooding. And there's a second story that's kind of related to this first story. It's about the Mississippi River actually cresting over, and the backwater bayou is at flood stage. Water and emergency management leaders are keeping a close eye on some rivers and bayous as they approach record levels. Greg Raimondo with the Army Corps of Engineers says the Mississippi River is at 49.9 feet in Vicksburg and is now falling. He added that the Yazoo at Yazoo City is at 5 foot above flood stage, and the Big Black is falling about 3.5 feet above flood stage at Bovina. Raimondo said that the Mississippi is expected to crest tomorrow at 57 feet. With such high numbers, Raimondo said it is an historic flood that they have not seen since 2011. We're going to pass the 9th largest flood that we've ever had, Raimondo said. Raimondo said that the backwater bayou is a concern at this point and urged people to stay safe and aware of the water levels. However, he said that the crest happening on the Mississippi River early in Vicksburg is good because they should be able to open the backwater gate by Friday the 23rd of March. That's next Friday. They currently need the river to fall about 5 feet before opening the gate, and then farmers can expect the backwater open to fall at the same rate as the river. Raimondo added that the easiest way to stay up to date on the water levels is by downloading the Army Corps of Engineers free app. And says, we were in a drought in 2011, and this time we've had all this rain, Raimondo said. The water levels in the backwater are coming up to levels that we haven't seen since 1983. So we're talking 35 years. Go to US ACE.
Sorry,
go to your app store. Yeah, go to your app store, look up US ACE, and you can keep track of all the water levels, Raimondo said. So, yeah, I mean, there is some stuff going on. There are the floodwaters and things like that. I actually have one more bit of news, and this can have ramifications for nationwide. Apparently, 70,000 pounds of Mississippi catfish have been recalled.
Oh, wow.
The recall from Heartland Catfish Company out of Itta, Mississippi. According to the Food Safety and Inspection Service and the USDA, it was discovered that 69,016 pounds of catfish were potentially adulterated with a residue. The residue has been identified as I'm going to have trouble pronouncing this word, leucomalachite green, which is used to treat fungal and protozoal infections in the aquaculture industry. The chemical's toxicity increases over time with increased exposure and concentration. A news release from the FSIS stated that products from the company have been shipped to Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Colorado, Illinois, Texas, and Vermont. A list of potentially affected products can be seen below. Packages of fresh catfish, whole, bloody, 32 ounce and up, with day code 021618 and product code 05411. 30-pound packages of fresh catfish, whole, bloody, 40 ounces and up, with day code 021618 and product code 05161. 15-pound packages of frozen 5 to 7 ounce catfish fillet split, with day code 021628-1, code 3872686. 15-pound packages of frozen catfish fillet 2 to 3 ounces, with day code 021618-1 and product code 11010. 15-pound packages, and it's just basically different. If you go to newsms.fm, you should be able to look it up.
It's a whole list in the description below.
Recall has received a Class 2 classification, which is defined as a health hazard situation where there is a remote probability of adverse health consequences from the use of the product. The problem was discovered on March 8, 2018, after routine FSIS sampling results revealed negative levels of the chemical lucum malachite green in the products. Consumers who have purchased these products are urged not to consume them. These products should be thrown away or returned to the place of purchase. So yeah, be careful if you know, watch out for that catfish. I mean, it's apparently it's dangerous. This stuff is dangerous. So
yeah, so basically it was like some kind of toxin that was dumped into the water.
Apparently so. I mean, and you know, here in Mississippi, we pride ourselves on our catfish.
Oh yeah, so, you guys down south, catfish, crawdads.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, just send me the link. Just send me the link, and I'll post it in the description below, and people can look at it and see if they've been affected or not.
I can say that here. Now I don't know. Some people may buy frozen catfish and eat it or whatever, but I am in a coastal area, and most of the catfish we eat, we caught. You know, and I'm not a big catfish eater, but but it reminded me of something that I can do for my local thing.
All right, go ahead.
It's not local exactly, but did you guys see the post about the Cadbury eggs?
Oh yeah, they took the word Easter out of it. It's holiday eggs now.
No. I mean, that may be true. But that's not what I'm talking about.
No, they haven't.
I don't know if it's true or not, but I have seen a couple of posts that look very official, but you know how Facebook is.
Yeah.
But I happen to have a bunch of little kids in my house all of a sudden, and so it was relevant to me just in case. They I have seen a couple of different things from Europe about a fellow that was working at the Cadbury chocolate factory. that had HIV and put his blood in some eggs.
Yeah.
And you know, they have the ones that is chocolate and you crack
Nasty.
it open and it looks like a chicken egg. It's got the white and it's got the yellow, but Cadbury makes all kinds of chocolate and it's wonderful chocolate. And like I say, I don't know. Who knows whether it's actually true or not, but I have seen a couple of different posts about it.
Yeah.
And
Well, hopefully it's not true.
I hope
Hopefully it's not true.
Yes, let's hope and pray it's not true. But they had a picture of the guy and a picture of the Cadbury plant, and it all looked really great.
Yeah.
And but still, let's hope it's not true. But still, I'm sorry.
It's definitely to watch out.
We're not buying any Cadbury this year. And probably, who knows, probably the chocolate we got this year was made last year and is perfectly fine. But you just can't be too careful with your babies.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
But going back to Henry's local news real quick about the flooding, I mean, yeah, that's great stuff because it is that time of the year and all that rain and all that flooding will occur. I mean, we had it last year up in Greenbrier County. It got flooded out.
There's been a flooding in a lot of places lately, and Henry, pray for anybody who got any damage in your flooding.
Yeah.
Didn't you do a short video of your backyard? With the water high?
We had about a month ago. Things okay now.
You're breaking up.
I mean, well, I have sandbags back here too, so.
Okay. Have you seen those? Have you seen those things that are inflatable that you buy?
Oh, you're talking about the round thing? It's like a moat.
It's like
you
buy enough that surrounds whatever you don't want to get flooded, and you blow
I saw
them
those.
up, and they catch the water and the debris and everything. Have you seen those, Henry?
No, I don't think I've seen those.
Next time I see one, I'll send it to you, but you could look it up. It's like these great big. How big are they, Shane? Round as a big barrel or a big car, or maybe a truck tire.
It's really big. It's like a big. It's basically like an inflatable, and it's like a reverse moat. You know how a moat keeps the water in? Well, this thing keeps the water out.
Huh.
And you put it around your property. You buy however much for however, and you make a square. And the videos that I have seen are just amazing. It's like there's 2 foot of water up against it, and everything you can see all the way around is flooded to the cars. And this one house with this thing around it has dry ground. They're really neat. They are really neat. I don't need one. I'm on a hill. I'm on the water,
Shane,
but I'm on a hill.
I brought it up. Here you go.
Oh,
yeah.
Yep.
Shane, I put that link up on the group chat here on the Hangout. So.
Oh yeah, I got it. Yeah, it's called a aqua dam, and right here, see where it's going around the dude's house.
Huh. Wow. Nice.
Yeah, Aqua Dam. That's it. And I really maybe I was bored that day or I don't know, but I read through the whole thing, and it ain't that expensive. It was like, I don't know, $2,000-3,000.
If you have the money, yeah, get it.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't remember the exact price, but I do remember thinking, and the price depends on how big an area. But I remember thinking that won't much compared to water running through the whole first floor of your house. Because I'm from Eastern North Carolina, we have hurricanes.
Mm-hmm.
And hurricanes are famous for flooding your house 3, 4, 5 inches. That wets the wall, the insulation, and you just can't cut out 5 inches of insulation and wall and put it back. You got to replace the whole mess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's a shitload of money.
Yeah. Yeah, it's better to spend the $2,000 and then, instead of, wasting $5,000 trying to rebuild everything.
10, 12,
All right.
14 grand.
Yeah, 5, 10, 12 grand, whatever. Yeah.
And even with insurance, insurance wants to pay for that 6 inches. And they don't want to pay for the rest of the wall.
Yeah. That is if you can get flood insurance.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Go ahead.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm going ahead and end this. We've been on for what, 2 hours? Yeah, 2 hours, 2.5. Pretty good long show. I said it was going to be a big show. All right. Anyway, so tomorrow night is going to be the webcasting dead. Me, Henry, and Ellen is going to be talking about Dead or Alive or episode 10, I believe. 10, 11? 11. Wow. 11. And then this next Wednesday night is the season finale of the X-Cast, the X-Files, and it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a good one. And then next Friday is going to be another Not Mainstream. We will, keep you guys posted on the Facebook, Twitter, whatever, YouTube, whatever. And if anything big happens between now and next week, you guys have a good and safe, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
Drink responsibly. All right? Drink responsibly.
Drive responsibly.
Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and drive.
I have one more thing to say.
All right.
On St. Patrick's Day, a lot of men are going to be drinking more than they should. So be very careful on the roads because their wives will be driving.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I thought so.
That was good.
Right.
All right.
Night. God bless America.
Right. Yeah. Good night, everybody. God bless America and God bless President Trump. We'll see you here next week.